Ladies and gentlemen, there we are, the 25th episode of the Dropodcast with some amazing guests today. Unfortunately, Drew couldn't make it, but instead we got Mr. Shrimp, Mr. ENZAK, and Nico 101 over here. So, first of all, welcome. Mr. Shrimp, can you tell a little bit about yourself? We haven't seen you before.
I played too much Planetside. Most people, I think, might know that. And that's really it, really. You'll see. There's not much. Don't put me on the spot, please.
No. Can I ask, why are you wearing, I think it's a onesie from Winnie the Pooh?
Well, I only have two modes. I've got either like Flash AF with the waistcoat, or it's a onesie. And today I couldn't be asked to leave the house with the GF, and she thinks I look cute in it. So, yeah.
Here we have the answer.
Yeah.
But if I'm correct, you played previously a lot of tournaments, right? Can you maybe share what you've won in the past?
All right, let me get up my Twitch channel. I've got a handy list on my Twitch channel.
Yeah, this man is a multi-tournament victor here.
Here we go. Lane Smash Season 2. Lane Smash Season 3. Lane Smash Season 4. PSBL Season 1 12v12 Division 2. PSBL Season 2 12v12 Division 1. And Scrim Masters Season 3, all of them first. And then Scrim Masters Season 5 with Jenga. Oh, we love it. That was, I think, 4th. And then Pill Season 1, 2nd with Bax. And also first with BHO. Oh, no, that's already in there, Scrum Masters, yeah. So I've been around.
So we can say you have quite some infantry experience.
Yeah. Terrible at everything else, like, but infantry, I'm borderline okay, yeah.
Okay, the important things. Well, we've got ENZAK as well. ENZAK, what have you been doing today?
I've been moving. I just got a new place, an apartment very close to my university. And yeah, I still haven't unpacked everything, but here I am. There's no Wi-Fi, there's nothing.
No Wi-Fi.
Just on the phone. Let's go.
And Nico, what have you been playing or doing this weekend or the past few days?
So I've been playing Ghost Recon Wildlands, and currently I'm playing Dawn of War 2. So, which is bit different from Planetside, but obviously I've been playing the Planetside Arena beta and trying to get some games in, but you know, weird American times and stuff. So it's been.
You couldn't make it to the playtest on the 12th?
No, I was working, wasn't I? So
it
was super early. It was like 5 p.m. when it started. So it was at work, man.
Yeah, man.
But well, obviously watched a stream, and that was alright. So this what it is.
Okay, I think that's also a nice segue to the first topic. Just, you guys have been playing the beta. I think I've seen ENZAK playing, I've seen Shrimp playing. What is your first overall idea after seeing the first gameplay things live, the latest build?
I mean, like, okay, so I've seen the game from, like, the alpha stage before Christmas to when it got cancelled, and we have this new game, and then all of a sudden with NDA lifted, and we can talk about, I don't think we can talk about the old stuff. But, like, it's one of them, I don't know, it's... I was talking a bit before the podcast came on about, like, things that were expected by the dev team, and it's like, the game feels quite dead in the water right now. I mean, we also, like, people like Waffle said about it, you know, maybe there's some stuff was mismanaged there, but yeah, I mean, there's stuff I like about it, and I think it improves upon a lot of battle royales. Like, I'd rather play it than a lot of others. But the actual execution and the current kind of polish on the game is pretty, well, it's pretty lackluster right now, I think we've seen. So, yeah.
Because you also experienced like a lot of input lag, and especially when the pain field hit it, I got a lot of lag suddenly. You had similar experiences?
Yeah, I mean, there's big hitching on big like UI changes like the pain field. And it was Flamus did some frame time testing, and he's on a system with a 2080 graphics card, very good graphics card, a 9900K CPU at 5 gigahertz, 16 gigs of RAM, etc. And he had 0.1% lows, 1% lows, I think, of 42 FPS with an average of 180 FPS, and a 0.1% low of, I think, like 0 FPS, which was the big hitch. So it's the frame times are where you're seeing the big issues with the input lag. Obviously, the inconsistency of frames being displayed. So, I mean, we'll see what happens there.
Yeah, I got kind of the same experience. I also started playing like when it was supposed to launch back in like 2018, late 2018, I think. And then, yeah, like the game back then felt better in game like feeling wise, like frame times and everything. But like they're heading the right way with the content, definitely. In my opinion, just right now they need to fix the frame times and everything. Some major bugs that are happening every now and then, but they're heading the right way, definitely. Like comparing, like you said, to other big battle royale games, like this is definitely one that could become great.
I mean, one of the main points of Planetside Arena is that it has 300 players. Have you guys gotten into a full game or not?
The highest I got was 283.
Yeah, something like that.
Which is it's you're talking like a squad off a full game, 2 squads. Like I think that's a fair enough test.
Mhm.
Was
It
that
was-
just the once or?
I think it was like 283. Then the next game I had like 243. Like so, it was a
Right.
dip, but it's still good numbers of players when you think of player density on the map. I mean, again, it's hard for me to gauge because the big thing you're looking at really, if we all know Planetside, it's going to be performance, right? When you add more players to the game, you know it's like big live server fights. But it's hard to gauge the performance because the current test server is in Las Vegas. I think they've started opening up the EU servers, but that fateful night of testing, which I think is going to be the main topic, is was done on a Las Vegas server. So, for like UK based players, looking about 150, 160 ping. So you guys, yeah, pretty high.
Yeah, the strange thing is I think the majority of players that could test the game was like EU based because we had a good timing, and a lot of American players had like the morning, so it was pretty bad for the most EU players, I feel like.
I mean that was done. Sorry.
No, go on.
It was so the reason for that testing time was like at 9-10 o'clock in the morning, because the idea was that you stream the game and then while you're all at work you can like work on stuff and you're there in the work environment. You've got the full day to kind of touch things up, promote and do what you need to do. But I think like we all experienced it, yeah.
It is also still a beta session. We need to remind ourselves of that. I mean, it is meant for testing. They do a lot of telemetry. They know a lot more after that beta test. And I've seen, I think, already a few updates with 100 megabytes, 200 megabytes. And that's quite a lot for a relatively small game like Planetside Arena. So they do know a lot more. The only thing that I'm afraid for is that we have a long road ahead. With 1 year of early access, basically. And I'm also curious how the consoles will handle the performance.
I mean,
because I don't know, I've been looking at my GPU and CPU usage. My GPU was maxing out the whole time. Unlike in the Planetside.
You're in ultra settings, right?
No, I went to I didn't change the INI, but I went to the lowest in-game settings.
Right. That's about like, so the lowest in game is about like medium in Planetside too.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's concerning, right? Because ideally you've got a game on one hand you're like, well, optimization hasn't taken place, right? But at the same time, you've got a game where not all the content's done. Like the biggest draw on Planetside 2, if you ever played back at the beginning of the game, was having all different textures and loading all different assets into the game. Which is why, right at the beginning, every weapon had like the same skin for each faction because it was limiting the number of assets to draw. But we don't have that yet. We literally just have like 2 sets of weapons, right? So if the load is still going to be things like asset draw on asset load, then yeah, good luck.
Yeah, I don't know about you guys, but like for me, it felt pretty okay. I had like 200 plus FPS.
Really?
Most of the time, yeah, like 180 maybe in big fights. And then when it was like the hitching I obviously had, then it dropped to like 60 and lower. But like in general, I felt pretty good about the game. So I don't really think it's like performance-wise optimization, but more some computers run good, some computers don't. Because there was also people like Mofker, for instance, that had lag issues when they pressed certain key combos and whatever. So I think it's not really the game that's like overloading graphics cards or something, but just the way it's processing on certain computers that it's just wrong.
I think it's a lot of
or
computers, though.
overdoing it. Yeah,
It's-
a lot of
it's the
computers,
majority,
and then
yeah.
they have to optimize that way. I think not actually the game, but like how it works on every computer.
But you had 200 FPS. What did you have on like the bigger
Yeah,
fights,
obviously,
especially in the
like,
end? Yeah.
I put everything on low, right? Like I'm the biggest potato on Planetside. I always do that any game. So I guess could be that, but like in big fights, I never really noticed going below 180, 160 maybe.
Wow, that is pretty impressive.
Yeah, lucky you.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, for me it was I was playing about like 140, 150. But the weird thing is, whenever I would get shot, my FPS would half. And when Flamus was talking about the frame times, it seemed to be that when people took damage, because you can see it obviously on the frame time graphs, when you start taking damage, you start to get like
Spikes.
you get
and
choppy,
whatever.
yeah.
Yeah.
And then it led to me, and I noticed this on the live server load, and I have some theories as to why it's happening. It could be completely wrong, but I think it's on the right track. And as to why that people are getting these hitching things, maybe not.
Shields.
It's to do with their changes to networking and how they're processing it. Yeah, so it just loads of like one frame deaths where if I started shooting someone and they didn't shoot back, I was fine, which was great when I was trying to kill Burness. But when it was like just like someone normal and we'd start shooting each other, I could feel us both like just instantly, not instantly, but there'd be like literally like a 5-second gap where my game is just frozen for 5 seconds and then it's just always back. We're both dead, or I'm dead, or I've killed him. It's really weird like that.
Yeah, crazy. Okay, that's I think enough about the overall experience so far. I want to dive into a topic which is highly controversial, but I think it's important to talk about, and that is the third-person versus first-person discussion.
Yeah, I am glad we're talking about this. Like, I've seen so many people posting that third person is like overpowered and shouldn't be in a competitive FPS and whatever not. But if you have like actually played the third person in this game, you know it's like okay, you see visually more, but then when it's actually time to fight, like the ADS time is so much longer compared to like being in first person.
Yeah.
So
That
like,
is ridiculously high, by the way.
yeah,
But
it's
I have
super long.
seen P90 Princess was streaming the game as well, and Carter was watching P90 Princess stream, and one of her main concerns was the ADS time is ridiculously high. So Carter responded by saying, "We're gonna tweak the ADS time." So I do think that will change in the future. However, that might maybe imbalance the third person a bit more.
Yeah, I just hope they consider it as a kind of compensation for going third person, that there still should be a little bit more delay. Not as much as right now, but still, that could be a good way of compensating third person users.
True.
Like the advantages you get, and you can just switch before the fight or whatever. But then you have more of a, oh, if I'm too late to react, then it's a bit of a downside to third person, I guess.
What do you prefer, Nico? First or third?
Because Planetside 2, and that's the audience that they're going to be mainly concentrating on for the first 3 to 6 months, that's first person. So for them to just pull a third person game and have the Planetside name to it, it's just wrong. It's not Planetside. Planetside is a first person game, so they should just continue making it first person. Like, I get the vehicle thing, the vehicle third person thing, fine. You know, there's not a problem with that. But using third person for, you know, for jetpacks or whatever, I just don't understand it.
I'm sorry, I had some guest over here. But okay, I get it, yeah. Main audience is Planetside 2 players still, so first person mode. And Shrimp, what do you think?
Here we go, lads. Here's the fun one. I'm just gonna go straight in with this. So basically all the complaints is like, oh, but third person, you're gonna be able to corner peek like PUBG. Well, dum-dums, you'll realise that time to kill in Planetside 2 and Planetside Arena, by the way, which is longer time to kills because almost everyone has upgraded shields, which are easy to get. You can't just corner peek one. The reason it works in PUBG is because your time to kill can be stupid low. Like we're talking like 2 ms, less than that because 1-2 dead. That's how that works. In Planetside Arena, you try that. Go on, try it. You'll get wrecked, okay? Because it just doesn't work like, okay? That argument, fair enough.
Throw
say
it
what you
away,
want.
please.
Just into the trash with you and your argument, because you're wrong. And go and play it. Don't just complain needlessly about it saying, you've ruined my game! No one cares. No, this game is not being made for you, it's being made for a mass of people. And on a subject to that, very few people constantly play Planetside 2, right? There's very few of us. So in theory, if you target a game at us, you've missed a massive target market because more people are not us than are us. So bear that in mind. Yeah.
Yeah,
A
we're
lot
the
of the
special
feedback
ones.
from players that doesn't seem to be Planetside players is also saying they don't like the third person thing. And I think
That's
that's
true.
a lot to do with because they've been tainted by PUBG.
Yes, that's exactly
so
it.
I do think that is causing a lot of the issues involved with this situation. But it's just it is just really weird that they went third person all of a sudden.
I don't know. I personally see Planetside Arena as a more casual game, and PUBG is a more serious game. And I think like they want to go more towards the Fortnite kind of things more than PUBG. Or do you think
That's
it's
my
less
next
casual?
thing.
Yeah.
Third person, whilst you say, like tainted by PUBG, you're absolutely right. You're not wrong. It's still more, I think it's viewed as more being accessible from the casual fan base, okay? It's just generally more accessible. Just because of the way it looks, you've got more peripheral vision. Whilst that can be that, idea of like, oh, you can see me behind that wall, blah, blah, blah. It makes the game more accessible like that. And they want the game to be faster paced. By going with the third person perspective, you're allowing people to scan the environment more often and move faster. They don't want a game, they don't want a battle royale where you're kind of you're stuck in cover like every other one. That's why you've got free flashes, that's why you've got jetpacks, that's why you've got all these movement based and terrain kind of moving based like abilities, weapons, etc. Because their point is they want you to be mobile. They don't want you to So I think that's why the third person, because while you could say, yeah, you could camp with it, because of the way the time to kill works, because of the weapon selections, it doesn't work like that in practice. So that's that on that side of things. As well, people saying about why don't you, split up the game modes so you have a third person and a first person game mode. That ain't gonna happen now because they're currently trying to get people into tests, right? When you do that, you will split up your community. There is not enough people playing. Even if you did it to Planetside 2, there wouldn't be enough people playing Planetside 2 to do this in. You need at least like 10, 15, concurrent players, maybe even per server to get like effective lobbying that way. So the idea of right now splitting it up and doing third and first person game modes and that kind of thing doesn't really make much sense. But I think it's Q2 they plan to kind of re-release the game, and that's when it reaches out of early access. If the game's still chugging then, which isn't a question its own right, that's when you'd see that kind of game modes and options allowed in. So, it's trying not to have the knee jerk. The reason as well, it's now and they're doing the third person now rather than putting it in later because that's something new and that needs to be tested. And it's a big change. And as much as that can be an issue when you look at Planetside 2, I mean, it might not even be the main way people play the game. I mean, you look at PUBG, I think the main way people consider to play the game properly is first person. So, going on to that, kind of use your brain a bit. And you'll see that maybe third person isn't exactly going to be the most popular game.
I mean, we're quite used to people of Planetside communities not using their brains.
Bruh, it's
it's very useful.
F.
I mean, yeah,
Well,
big
you guys think there's a big misconception how third person will actually play out and how much advantage you'll have.
Yeah.
And I see like a comment from Mofka. An open beta is needed so that everyone who is skeptical or hating can try it out before they open their mouths. Do you think that will be the solution for people to actually generate an actual opinion? Or
I mean, yeah, that's a great way, but it's also a great way, like,
to
I
lose.
feel like the only reason they opened this beta up so soon, because it felt like it opened up really soon, right? This like no NDA stuff is because they
Yeah.
just wanted people to test server capacity and stuff like that. They needed that, and the only way going to do that is like, right, big push, everybody, get them involved, stream it, blah blah blah, get everyone, get server load up, right? So
But still,
right
it
now, I
was
don't think so.
it was relatively close because you needed an invite, and I still
Yes.
know a
Oh,
lot
no,
of people
yeah,
that
it was
still didn't get
closed
invites.
because I don't think they do know that their game is at a stage where it's not exactly playable.
Yeah.
So to completely open the floodgates, people play it, and I think Nikki even said to me like the idea of early access isn't a thing anymore because so many games release as full products with the title early access, right? So the idea of it, of them opening the product, people play this buggy mess and see all these things like what, if you saw Waffle said that meme, people see that and they'll go, oh, I'm not playing this game anymore, and they will never touch it again. So yeah, open beta maybe in a month or two. Depends how fast they get stuff done.
Oh, okay.
You could also just do it the other way, like do the early access, like they do with PlayStation. You play it there, everybody talks about it, everybody does that, and then after that they release it to like PC and open beta for like a day or 2 days, and then they just make people decide like, do I want to play this or not? And that's why I think like they could do like a closed beta first, and then do like a day or two of testing, just free testing, and then after that just make it paid version.
I think that's great if you've got like an infrastructure like PlayStation Network, right, where everyone's on a console and they're all
I'm not
connected
really
through the
like
network. But
talking about like console versus whatever.
oh no,
I
no,
mean,
I
like,
know
for
what you
the
mean. But
entire game, like
if you're
could be a good
launching
thing.
if you're launching a game, you have access to that service, especially if you're Sony yourselves, right? And you can make it so it pops up on everyone's PC. Hey, try this game. Or everyone's PlayStation. Hey, try this game. You can make that happen. You can get it out there. Planetside Arena's marketing is depending on streamers playing the game and recommending it. So
yeah, giant waffle, right?
Then also the timing for these streamers was relatively unfortunate because there was another big game that kind of released. There was an open beta for Modern Warfare, and I've seen, for example, Dr. Disrespect streaming that game instead of Arena, which might be a good thing because of the state of the game, but unfortunate timing still. That also does bring me to, I think, another point we want to talk about today, competition. Do you guys think that Planetside Arena has what it takes to blow away other competitors? Nico, what do you think?
Good one.
It's too early to say. It really is. Like everything is it's a niche in itself. But at the minute, there's not a lot of positivity behind it at all. It's kind of a bit depressing, and they were pretty much put their eggs in the all in one basket with like Dr. Disrespect and whoever the other streamers were, and really they kind of like shot themselves in the foot because obviously Dr. Disrespect streamed Call of Duty instead, and it's just kind of a little bit disappointing, that's all. And obviously the Vanguards, I mean, they're in a bit of a weird place. Everything's sort of like not right. It just doesn't seem right at the minute. Like, and I know it's in early access, so that they can obviously improve stuff and move things around and chop things around, but I don't know what they're going to do with it. And, it's so off the cuff, everything's just been smashed together and hope for the best, and I don't know if there's any realistic planning behind it. It's kind of the same thing we see in Planetside with like Combined Arms Initiative and all that kind of thing, and the Liberator adjustments, the Dalton nerf, everything is kind of just pushed in without a lot of feedback, and I don't know if it's what players want.
Yeah, go ahead. Shrimp, go ahead.
Oh, I mean, I can tell you separately why it feels a lot like Combined Arms. I can tell you that straight away, but I don't want to get someone in hot water. I'll tell you guys afterwards. You'll love this story. I've told it to a few people already. But no, there's a reason it feels exactly like the way Combined Arms felt rushed and cobbled, and it's like slotted in, but it doesn't feel quite right for the environment we have, right? You know what I mean? It has that air about it, like, hey, this is different and not in a great way. But yeah, like, what was the question again?
Competitors.
Competitors,
Like-
that's it. So you had the game was obviously going to be releasing in that state before, and then there was a big delay, yay! And then what released was Apex Legends. Oh Jesus Christ! So you have this holy trinity of PUBG, which is kind of that more kind of low time to kill. Low time to kill, kind of realistic style. Like I always think of like an armor-based, battle royale. Then you've got your Fortnite, which is your like just cultural phenomenon. I see little kids with flossing t-shirts on, and I want to scrape my eyes out, but they're still wearing them and they're going on to play Fortnite. My little cousins love it and they want me to download it on their PC. I refuse. Then there's the there's Apex, which is kind of the kind of fast-paced. Yeah, you want to be competitive. You want to show off your skill and your movement, but also have some kind of class-based mechanics in there, and it runs really well and all that kind of thing. So you have that holy trinity of battle royales. Planetside Arena does a lot of things where I think competitive people will like the idea of that. My biggest gripe with PUBG and stuff was I would play it and I would win like 90% of my games, just saying, until the Chinese came along. Hate them. And I'd spend 20, 30 minutes in a game where I gather all my gear and then I win and I've got to do it all over again. And I hated it with a passion because it was this grind and it was boring. Where PSA, I can drop in with the kit I want. It's not the upgraded, but I can still drop in with the weapons I want. And that's really, really important. It takes that element of grinding away. So that in itself is a really, really useful feature. And I think the weapons themselves with the classes have been balanced rather well around that kind of aspect. I just don't think that the regular, like your average Joe will look at their options and consider that Planetside 2 is not free to play. And I just don't think it's tempting enough. Yeah, you might play it for a game or two if it was free, but with it being a pay-to-play game, in its current state especially, I don't know. I just don't think it has what it takes to sustain. Someone said they did some quick math, and you said you need like 8,400 active players roughly to launch a new game every minute. I don't think you'd manage 10k players after a month, to be honest, in its current state.
After a month, do you think they will like get that at launch? 8,400?
At launch, I mean, I'm talking like I think it's hard to estimate like how many accounts will be born at launch. I could see it being maybe about 10k.
Yeah, I was also thinking like 10k max.
Concurrent
That's-
players, I can see about similar to Planetside, if not less, because at least Planetside 2 sits within a niche in the market, right?
I think
Planetside
right now
Arena
there's
does not.
like how many players per server? Like 700 to 800?
I mean, I say about 2,000 active players, 2,500 active players.
Yeah, because
That's
like
about true.
on
Yeah.
Planetside Arena, it's gonna be merged, right? All of the US is gonna be together, and all of the EU is gonna be together on one server.
Yeah, kind of. It's like different
it's
server
like-
banks, but yeah.
A little bit different, but yeah. Still, yeah, I also think the competition, it's been like this with this studio like all the time. It has the potential, but it fails at actually executing it correctly.
Yeah.
Like a lot of times they come with great ideas and like innovative stuff. Look at H1Z1, look at Planetside Arena, biggest MMO FPS. There's nothing like that game out there, and that's why everybody is playing it. But the big problem is like people leave it because some of the stuff they do is just not what you expect from the usual game developing studio or whatever. So I think like the way they're executing the launch and everything, it just has to be right, or it's gonna be just like potential all over again.
Is a big part of that also the engine? Do you think they were a game should just go ahead, try Unreal or something different?
I mean, an engine is expensive, right? Renting one, you pay so many percentages of your total earnings just for using the engine, and then like a monthly fee or whatever. Like it is expensive.
Unreal would not be able to support the amount of players that this does.
Yeah, that I was gonna say.
physically
Yeah,
possible.
exactly.
So that's why they built Forge Light to deal with the amount of players. But then I think realistically, Forge Light can't deal with the amount of players at the minute anyway.
It's the idea of that Forge Light was not designed to deal with these players well. It was just meant to have them.
Yeah.
And then the idea
exactly.
is through patching, through editing, you would get a game which runs okay in terms of hit detection, client side detection. You would add stuff, and they've added a lot of kind of on the networking side of things. They've added a lot of stuff, just a lot of stuff
Hot
that
fixes.
makes the game feel very server side when it's client side, and it takes a lot of extra stuff, and that's where I think I said earlier about some of the performance and the hitching on damage. I'm pretty sure it could be to do with client verification, and it's waiting for the damage, or it's waiting for a verification. That's why you get the hitching. I think that's why that might be. I mean, it's literally just guessing, but I know if they've added some kind of client verification for packets, right?
That's
Then
probably the most likely.
there could be like a hand, where they're waiting on verification. Your game hitches because as you die, it's catching you up. You say that guy's 60 ping, you have 200. There's 140 MS there. Do you know what I mean? Time. And then if you think about two guys who both have 200 ping, you've got 400 MS. Nearly you've got 400 MS just there in pure time delay between the two clients.
Yeah.
But yeah, adding all this kind of stuff, it's just
I think
the Forge Light engine it's there and they have it, and that's why they're using it. And
I don't know,
know,
if
yeah.
you've played like CS:GO. There's not the whole waiting thing, but more lag compensation. As if when you missed the shot, let's say you're like AWPing or whatever, and you shoot somewhere and you missed the shot, but like on your screen he was supposed to be there, but like the difference in like ping makes it that he moved just that second you shot. The server or your client actually registers it as a hit because it was supposed to be there. And like that is correct way of like fixing client side detection, but I don't know how they did it. But it feels really wonky right now. Like it's not in
Interpolation
place.
it's kind of your issue there. It's like where it has to you make it
A
effectively
guessing
make
game.
an educated guess on where that client is. But when you're trying to do that with like, I don't know,
300 players.
500, 300 clients per game, and those clients having to talk to each other, one client, it gets messy very quickly, especially when you're trying to run it on hardware, which is maybe not quite the best for it. You can't afford it.
Interesting. That's the thing about the potential of the game competitors and also a bit about the engine. I also want to quickly mention this, and I don't know if you guys are interested in this. They're talking in the interview with, I think, PC Gamer, WSCC Tech, about story elements and also the return of factions. Are you guys fans of the faction system in Planetside 2 right now?
It's just people. It's just different
just
teams, isn't it? I don't read into that. I mean, some people are law nuts, and if you are law nut, I mean, there's plenty of games that I'm like that about. So power to you. But to me, it's just different colors.
Yeah, it's just shooting, man.
That color. Yeah,
I see a lot of people. This isn't the Planetside game because there are no factions. It's fair, but I personally don't really care myself.
I mean, I'm very kind of grey about this. Sorry, Nico, I cut you off.
It really this is in the grand scheme of things, the faction thing is really just minor. Really minor. And I mean, I think one of the biggest problems, one of the greatest things, and one of the worst things of Planetside 2 is it has 3 factions.
I agree.
If there was 2 factions, it would remove a lot of basically problems with the game, because every time I go on Reddit or even on Faber's stream, Mofka, there's always someone complaining that they're getting double teamed. At least
or like this weapon
makes
is OP or whatever.
Yeah, but it also makes it unique in itself as well, because if it didn't have the 3rd faction, then it probably wouldn't be Planetside. I mean, if they did make Planetside free, I would strongly push for them to make sure there's only 2 factions in Planetside free.
I think there's an interesting perspective, and I've thought about this a lot. If you had 2 factions in the game, because of faction snowballing and how strict you'd have to be with kind of the pop differences, right? I think you'd find if you only had 2 factions, whether or not it's a good thing or a bad thing, I think you'd find that one faction would always curb stomp the other. That's steamroll the other. That's the word I was looking for. Not the other one. Sorry about that. Because it only takes a small advantage to push you over the threshold. Okay, so the third faction in Planetside acts to keep. So even if all population isn't the same, that faction in the grand scheme of things on the server always has less pop in theory and hopefully than the combination of the other two to keep things even though one faction might have 20%, one might have 40%, and you know what I mean, like 30%. It means that no one faction can ever truly dominate without some teamwork, right? I mean, that's the idea of a three faction system, because it prevents the imbalance of pure players. Because it takes skill out the window, so you put people with like even skill. Whoever has just like a 12 more players, that's an extra squad you can put somewhere else across a huge map. That makes a big difference. So to remove a third faction, you know what, probably won't work. But if I was going to remove any, it'd be NC, because their damage model doesn't really fit in the grand scheme of things to the game.
Honestly, if I was to
Rude.
make a Planetside tree, I would probably keep the whole mercenary system of the current Planetside arena. Not make like two factions, but just one faction that's like not really a faction, but like just one group of players that's automatically balanced in two teams. And like it doesn't matter which side you're on, you're just killing the other side. That's it. And like you all have the same weapons probably. No issues there, like no complaining, whatever. I'd see like I'm still one of those Call of Duty 2, like Black Ops 2 fans. That's like everybody has the same shit. You just see whoever's better with it. But yeah, that's how I would love to see.
You're talking about Planetside 3, but this might be Massive Clash. They're talking about 250 or maybe 500 versus 500 in Massive Clash. And I think that will be some kind of.
Base.
Is it base versus base?
Base versus base, yeah.
Okay.
It won't be Battle Royale.
No, okay. So that might be the two faction or two team system.
Tribes Planetside hybrid. That's what I'm thinking.
Tribes.
I mean, if they made basically a Battlefield game, but Planetside, with say 150 people on each team, right? Then that's going to be far more enjoyable than that shit show of Battlefield 5 right now.
Yeah.
I mean, if they aimed at that audience, I mean, you're going to steal all their players. That's all they have to do technically with Massive Clash, is just make Battlefield 5 the way it was supposed to be, but Planetside, and they're plain sailing, but they're still concentrating on this whole Battle Royale thing.
That's hot though.
I know why they concentrate on the Battle Royale thing though.
What we're gonna get Higby back and go full competitive?
No, fuck no. All right. This is a little Chinese.
Here comes the theory. Let's go.
Here we go, lads. Right. So the guy, the head honcho at Daybreak Games, the guy was obsessed with making Battle Royale. Okay, he wanted, because all his friends were making Battle Royales. I'm talking the guy who funds, what is it called, like Novacorp or something behind Planetside, the big thing.
The Russians.
And he was like, all right, yeah, the Russians, the Red Army, whatever. He was like, I want, because all my friends are making a lot of money. He talked to his friends, and he had two games. He had a massive ton of assets. Yeah, a lot of money. Yeah, a massive ton of assets already sat on. Okay, he had EverQuest and Planetside, two unique IPs that they own, and they have a lot of assets lying around for. But they couldn't quite they didn't have enough to kind of get going. They had the assets, but they needed dev time, and dev time needs money. So what do? They have premium accounts, and they sell. We're going to sell you lifetime premium, okay? $300 each, 4,000, right? Yeah. Which brings you up 1.2 million. Exactly. Right.
They earned
tinfoil hats on, lads. Tinfoil hats on.
Yeah,
okay.
Continue.
And he was absolutely upset. Like, he wanted it. So the idea was, we're going to make this Planetside Battle Royale. And that's why it was so rushed, because he just wanted it, okay? And what you have to understand about people who own games companies, they're not gamers. They're businessmen. They're investors. Yes. And they don't really care, okay? Because at the end of the day, they personally don't lose money, okay? The business might, they don't care. and that's it. He just wanted it. Okay. Yeah, Infowars guys. No, but that's the point. Okay. You have all this going on, and you're like, why is it so rushed? Why is it? Oh, I wonder why it's so rushed. And I also, and that's why. So I remember joking with Steve at the time, and we were like, well, maybe they'll bring out after it was when we thought, oh, it might be cancelled for now. Like, oh, maybe they'll bring out an EverQuest, a battle royale, because that's obviously something they own. But yeah, that's just some. I mean, it might not be true, but it's all very coincidental, isn't it?
Well, from an economics perspective, even those businessmen know if they make a shit game, they won't sell a lot. So in the end, it doesn't earn their money. And I know it doesn't hurt them personally, but it's not a way to go to a bigger company, to grow, to get a promotion or something like that. So I think it's a bit,
this is just
it's
a
bit
cash
too
grab.
much.
That's
yeah.
it.
No, that's
I don't.
Yeah.
It's a cash grab.
They're not losing money because you already generate that 1.2 mil, right? You don't lose that money. You have that. That's free, just pure cash. Electronic cash. You have that there. Okay.
From a 12-year-old game.
And Wavy Wave's right. That is my brother, by the way. So I'll say that. But you can also use it as a tax loophole. Oh, look, we didn't make as much. We lost loads of money. Tax.
Yep.
Lower tax brackets. That's huge. It's huge. And 1.2 million is not much, but it's just enough for what was happening. Also, I know where the game when it actually started. I was told when it started development and how it started development. And it literally was a case of, oh, wow, you're making that? Oh, that looks neat. Come talk to us. We're looking for a battle royale. Oh, look. And that was someone else.
Yikes.
Yeah, that was someone else. I won't go there because I'm pretty sure if I said that, I would just wind up falling out of a window somewhere. So let's not.
Oh man, I want to hear now.
EverQuest Classic SoonTm. Let's go.
It is just enough to pay 8 developers for a year for 1.2 million.
Yeah.
I don't. Do you know how big the team is?
Yeah, it's
like
quite a big
12 people.
team, but a lot of people are on associate level. They're not on full.
Yeah, there's also
associates.
company-wide
Yes.
stuff, like the PR and everything. They do it for every game there. So it's not like they're specifically hired for like Planetside Arena. So they don't lose anything there.
You are hired by Daybreak Games and you are assigned projects.
Yes.
That's how most companies, you were assigned, okay, do you want to, you work on this. That's why Valve's so good, because the idea of Valve is you work where you want. It's like the Google. Awesome. But like how it actually works is, no, you're here, you go and work in this sector. Hey, you want to work there? Yeah, we've got space there. You go and work there. So,
Interesting. Okay, I think we talked enough about this part. I do have one more thing I think we need to talk about. Go back to the list. Future game modes. We know Thunderdome is confirmed. And I was actually wondering if you are missing something in that list. Because I have seen a lot of people screaming for 6v6, for example.
EDM.
Yeah. Like, in my opinion, just bring all the old school game modes back. Like, everything that's been around.
TDM and like
Search
even
and Destroy,
Capture the Flag,
all that stuff.
Yeah. Yep.
All that stuff, bring it back and implement it in like a Planetside way that it's actually good.
I have to say about this that many people are screaming for like Halo, and Halo is coming back to PC, of course, in the future with the Master Chief Collection. But there was a game that also tried arena style. I don't know if you know about Splitgate. That actually brought 6v6 or 5v5, I'm not completely sure. And right now, nobody's playing it. Same with, for example, a game like Ironside. It's a free-to-play also team deathmatch game. It's not doing exactly that great. So, again, it will be a big risk for them to completely go focus on that route.
I think the big problem with Splitgate is the complexity of it. A lot of players just don't know the teleportation stuff, or it's too hard, or it's like they want to have a chill time, and it's just way too hard. And
but even a game like Titanfall, which is relatively easy to understand, even that game isn't as popular as it could be.
I mean, how old is Titanfall right now?
Titanfall 2 or 2017? Not sure.
When did it launch? I don't know. But it's already pretty old. So if you think about it, all the players that played Titanfall probably went to Apex right now, right?
Depends if
I
you'd
just
like Battle Royale or not.
Yeah, exactly. But what I think is like adding the like old school stuff right now is a good thing because everybody's forgetting those things. You don't get those things anymore with the classic like of course Call of Duty is probably gonna bring it back now, but the new games are just battle royales, battle royales, battle royales, and they're forgetting about what was fun also. Like a good round of TDM was just all you needed for a Friday night, and then like you go to bed.
Yeah.
I just think old school stuff shouldn't be forgotten for a Planetside like battle royale.
Another thing, like saying that, realistically, people want stuff that they can just like start up, get into a couple of games, and then just leave.
Exactly.
You
Yes.
know, because
Thank you.
not a lot of
Exactly.
people have got a lot of time anymore. Everyone's too busy working, or they've got
Good point.
kids, or whatever. Whereas Planetside, you realistically, you need to be online for at least an hour to be able to have a good experience. You can't just log in, capture one base, and log out, because that's just kind of weird. It just doesn't work. And I think they've really missed an opportunity with Planetside Arena, making something that you could just hop in, play something, and then get out. And that's the main thing that people, I think, really need at the minute.
I nail on the head there. Like,
Yeah, I couldn't
I'm going back
agree
to
more.
uni. I've been playing again over the summer, but I don't have time to play Planetside because I can't just log in for, like you say, you don't just log in and cap a base. Go, oh, I'm done now. I'm logging out. No, of course not. But I've been playing a lot of War Thunder because that's basically, I've been playing tanks. It's just team deathmatch. Just that's all it is. Team deathmatch. At the end of the day, even though it's tanks and all that, I'm playing TDM. And
Yeah, it's
I think
just
to add a
so good.
TDM gamer to Planetside would be great. I mean, you have surprisingly simple yet rather complex and intuitive first-person shooting mechanics. The issue is, I'm pretty sure a lot of the guys on the PSA dev team, I mean, PS2 dev team is different because they're around them, but the PSA dev team, I don't think they quite get how high a skill ceiling you can get from just, say, aiming, not positioning, just things like aiming, right? And
Mm-hmm.
if you understand, like as players, we understand it because you see that, and like you understand. Okay, we could actually just build a game off this, like TDM, right? But I don't know. I think with what I've said already about certain people just really wanting that BR, like really wanting that battle royale, when you add that in, it's like, well, I doubt that TDM's ever going to be made, to be honest. And I think that's a big loss.
I think the worst thing is we already have in Planetside assets set up for arena style gameplay. Cold tier and other things that
Battle
you
Islands,
mentioned. Yeah.
Yeah.
they got finished. They're done.
Exactly. It's all sat there waiting, and they didn't do anything about it. They basically made a new game. Like they could have easily just made Planetside, arena, like the way that it should have been, not battle, whatever it fucking is, battle royale shit. It's
So you think it should have been just the same game but a new mode and not a
if they
real new
just
title?
made Planetside 2 arena, and then it was just all which was just competitive gameplay. You just had an arena of little servers for, I don't know, 24, 48 people, whatever. And then you
Mm-hmm.
could just go and fight, and you could then either you could make it vehicle only, or they could even rent servers and whatever. There's lots of
Yeah, or
things, and
even
that would appeal
community
to a lot more
hosted
people.
ones, right?
Exactly, it would appeal to a lot of people, a hell of a lot of people. I mean,
Yeah.
obviously that's what they missed out on Battlefield 1, wasn't it, when they didn't do standalone
Modding support and all
servers and
that stuff.
stuff. Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't think Planetside will ever get modding support. I think there are a lot of
I mean,
hacks already.
Oh, you could ask
adding
certain
modding
players.
support. Adding
Yeah.
modding support is a really risky move, though, because you allow people to literally own your game and change it the way they want,
Well, I should. I don't know
or
if I'm going to show it
modify
on
it.
stream,
Yeah,
but
yeah,
we've already seen a good video of that, haven't we?
Yeah.
So we could
it's
say the
pretty
future
illegal.
game does have mod support. Yeah, that's been taken care of. Fingers crossed. But
Yeah, they got this covered.
no,
Okay.
it's
And I think it's time for some actual viewer questions because we still got a few. You can still give us more questions. Exclamation mark question and put a question in the chat. The first question is, what do you think how many copies will be sold? I think I already talked about this. You guys said around like 10,000 copies for Planetside Arena?
Ooh, total copies sold though.
Total copies sold, as in
Well,
like
should we say in like the opening week, how many copies
Yeah.
do you think they'll sell?
Like that.
Yeah.
This is gonna sound stupid, so I'll let you guys go first.
honestly,
It's going to be
like
less than
we
100K.
said, no, it's gonna be like 30K or something, and then
Okay,
concurrent.
good. Yeah, 30 to 50K max. I
Yeah,
think.
that's what I was thinking too.
It's
like-
not too stupid.
It's gonna be like still decent, but I think it will wear off really quick. As in, there will be players that stay around, and then a lot of players that will leave.
Still
Until, like,
$600,000 though.
Exactly.
Exactly.
Oh, and people might
Money,
buy the
cash grab,
deluxe.
that's it. Hey, what's your
Deluxe.
point?
And if you buy deluxe there,
Yeah,
they're still
it's-
going to probably profit a good $500,000 to $1 million
I mean,
from this game.
chat, if you're listening and you want to share like a deluxe key with me, I can give you like
Oh my god.
10%
Sell
off of
out.
the... I'm kidding.
I actually think that 30 to 50K is quite on the high side of things already.
No, but like when you look at like total, if you look at games, then they total sell copies. It's completely much higher than any kind of return player base.
Interesting. Okay,
Yeah.
but I think we'll never get the hot numbers from Daybreak, so that will be guessing, I guess. But let's go to the
Well,
next
it's all-
question. Oh, yeah?
I
It's
mean,
on Steam. You'll be able to see it.
yeah,
on
you
Steam
can see it on
Analytics.
Steam,
Oh,
right?
oh yeah, you
It's
can
a
see
Steam
Steam
only
numbers.
game,
Yeah, that's cool. Okay, next question is, do you believe the pay-to-play war will be a positive effect on more fair-playing game due to minimal cheaters? Shrimp is-
Minimal
no.
cheaters.
Why no,
Right.
Shrimp?
Right. Okay. So pay to play games. So yeah, free to play, you can just download it and cheat. And yeah, brilliant. Okay. But pay to play games, what people don't talk about is the majority of people cheating do not get their keys legitimately either. There is a classic example, and it's also how people use G2A to make crap ton of money a month. You go and you buy, say, like 50 frauded credit cards, right? Okay, which are quite easy to get. Just saying. And you go and buy them, and then you go on there's sale on or whatever, and you just buy like 500 copies of that game. Okay.
That's gifts,
And-
and there you
Yeah,
go.
you give them. And at the same time, you're a cheater. You can just, go and get another frauded credit card, turn my VPN on, go on my dark web, whatever, buy another frauded credit, buy another copy of the game. And again, I think you've seen it before, like seasoned cheaters. Oh, we give him a hardware ID ban. Oh, he's back next day though, isn't he? Or 20 minutes late with that IP ban. Because these people, you can run VMs, virtual machines to get around this. You can run all sorts. There is no way, like, inherently the anti-cheat, not just the program, but just the method of anti-cheat will always be behind the cheater. And you can see it time and time again. And this is like, these hard cheats with like aimbots and any kind of collision movement cheat where you're using a third-party program, injectors, to soft cheats like in Planetside, where I call them soft cheats because it's not like using a third-party program, but where you're like downloading or uploading a file like back in the day certain people used to do to make themselves not take damage. It's always going to be a thing. And the pay-to-play wall, yeah, it'll stop the most idiotic cheaters, but I'll tell you what, even in Planetside 2, those guys ain't staying around for long. They're getting banned after 24 regardless.
You're also forgetting, like, the engine is just literally the same engine. So it's gonna bring over the same cheats if they don't do something about it.
The big difference was moving to pack 2 files, and they're already open.
And there's already tutorials for that, so hello. I think the biggest change they should do is move from the whole battle-like garbage thing to an actually good, easy anti-cheat thing. Not naming names or something, but like, hello. Honestly, like, easy anti-cheat is my way to go in case of cheaters. Like, I've played other games, and every time when it's using that anti-cheat system, it's just way better. Like, my experience is almost cheat-free. So I think they should try, like, a little bit of a bigger effort.
So just the pay-to-play game won't fix it. Okay. That's fair. Then we got another question. Do you think that Planetside Arena will suffer from long lobby times? With 30 minutes of 240 players, match times, they need a minimum client base of, give or take, 8,400 active players to launch a new game every minute.
Yeah.
Uh,
I
Will
mean,
it suffer from long lobby times? I mean, probably. If I'm
It's-
playing, I will switch over to the American servers, for example, when it's really late. But
It's surprising how bad people are at battle royales and die instantly. So you'll find that, yeah, 30 times 240 gets to 8,400. But people don't. Not everybody survives. Maybe the top 3 people survive.
hmm
30
like the
minutes.
first 5 minutes, there's like half of the teams are
yeah,
gone.
it's you
But
can see it. It's an exponential relationship. So
Exactly.
you do have the revive terminal, so people can stay alive up until pretty late into the game.
true, but
Yeah.
you forget how bad some people. So,
And people
they're
just
Also,
leave.
I just quickly want to mention that because you mentioned like bad people. I wanted to talk about like pre-made squads versus non-pre-made squads. And what do you guys think about it? Like, obviously, or what's gonna be better?
Yeah, pre-made will always be better. But
But do you think there's methods to deal with that? As in,
yeah,
like,
not make pre-mates. But
no, like right now the game has, for instance, like no text chat. There's no pinging system. There's a lot of stuff that is hard to communicate with people. That like, how many people talk in a game? That's with randoms. Just think of it like if you play Apex or any other game like PUBG. How many
There's
people
no
talk?
ranked in there at the minute. There's no ranked in Planetside Arena, so you ain't
Same
gonna
thing.
get any matchmaking at all or anything like that.
Yeah, and
Matchmaking never works either way.
that's
So.
why I think it's gonna be really harsh on new players.
I
Because
mean, look at
there's a little bit of a standard these days that you can communicate at least like, hey dude, here's an enemy, I'm just pinging it for you. All
mean,
of the
that's
new
what-
games are having it.
I mean, that's
Well-
where Apex shining light on it.
Yeah, exactly.
look how long it took Apex to like implement ranked games.
I'm
Couple
not even
months.
saying like ranked, like Planetside Arena ranked would only split up the community pool even more, so that's definitely not an option right now, but mostly it's just like being able to point out where an enemy is to your teammates without actually
Yeah.
using a microphone would
Mm.
be the least you can do.
I think one of the biggest problems you're going to find possibly in Planetside Arena is you're going to have like this Leet Fit with Shrimp in it, like rolling around as a squad. And how many times are you going to come across Shrimp and his squad of Leet boys, and they're just going to like
A lot.
one-shot you every time? It's going to be the new player experience once again. Is going to be horrendous.
Hey, but don't forget it, this time there's no tutorials. Don't you worry.
Wow.
That's it. Straight into the meat grinder with you. It sounds perfect, guys. Don't know what everyone's worried about. No, it's terrible because like,
Straight into
yeah,
the meat
I love.
grinder.
It's great for a couple of games, like crushing scrubs, but it just you want people to play. You want to fight.
Yeah.
You don't just want to be hitting 5-year-olds in the face. Like, come on,
Yeah.
that's
wrong with
not how
that?
you want to play the game. It's stupid.
to be honest, there will be 300 guys in the match, so there are only an X amount of shrimps in this world. And there's a big amount of
But if they're all in
scrubs.
one-
So
If they're all in one squad though, like yikes, dude.
yeah, but you can't come across all of them at the same time. I mean, it's gonna be also some scrub versus scrub fighting in the beginning and also in the middle game. But there will be
I mean-
clubbing of seals, yes.
Yeah.
It's an inherent thing. It's that idea of like at the end of the day, sometimes you can debate this all you want, and sometimes it gets to the point where it's like just get good. I mean, I'm not saying that's legit, and you should say that.
Best
But
answer
you-
ever.
Yeah, but it's like you can go down this rabbit hole, but I mean, it definitely should be a lot better than it is now.
You're never
passive
going to
ranking,
get
etc.
someone that plays only at weekends for 4 hours. They're never going to get on the level of what you guys would be.
Yes,
Ever.
because
And there's no amount of telling them to get good, which is ever going to help them.
I had
It's just
like
gonna make
Let me
them go
just say
back
this
to Call of
once
Duty.
and
I
for
somehow
all
had
to new
negative sex
people.
anyway. Yeah.
Like, please don't think we're playing this game all day long, day and night, like day out. It's not like that. It's just
Most
a
people are,
mindset.
though.
No, it's not. I haven't played this game like I think maybe 10 hours the last 3 weeks.
Yeah. But
Yeah,
wait,
Or before
Shrimp,
that.
how many
Yeah.
hours have you got in Planetside?
Me?
1,000
Yeah.
something.
I got about 3,000, but I have 3,600 hours in Team Fortress 2 because my point is it's like
Yeah,
sorry, I have
it
to cut
goes
you off.
across
But
games.
yeah, exactly. Because it's like, yeah, I spend a lot of hours, but I spend a lot everywhere else. Well, mate, I had kidney stones because of Planetside 2.
What the hell?
Ouch.
Yeah, pissing rocks. Brilliant.
Are you
Sorry about
okay
that.
right now? Or...
Oh yeah, no, that was a year ago. They've started to fail now. It's fine. But seriously, it's
okay.
like that. I'm just somehow chugging through it. But that's like my point. It's like I mean, any game there's going to be this time deficit, and that's the idea of like you got to get good because you can debate this and debate this. And yeah, we don't play all the time, but you do play a lot of like games with transferable skills and stuff like that. And at the end of the day, I find it's hard. You know, you're making real good points. Like we should have some kind of rank system because you don't just want these same people with no hope, but you can, if you do, the encouragement should be, hey, not add these systems to make me not get killed by these players. Why don't we add these systems so those players don't have to keep killing you? There we go.
Okay.
Somewhat makes.
Then we're going to end the stream with the last few fast fire rounds. So all of you get like one question. You have to answer in one sentence if possible. So the first question to Mr. ENZAK, room tour when?
Room tour when? I don't know. I have to do a lot of stuff for uni right now, but I'll try.
That's more than one sentence. For next question, Mr. Nico101, what is your sense of life?
To watch your streams, obviously, mate.
Okay. Mr. Shrimp, why is Daybreak Games dumb?
Why they're dumb? Because old man. There we
Old
go.
man. Okay. Mr. ENZAK again. When sheeps can't fall asleep, do they count themselves? Question mark.
No, they count wolves.
And then back to Mr. Shrimp. How do you get kidney stones from Planetside 2?
Stress, not drinking, and
Okay.
eating a lot of crisps.
That's the sense of life as well, I guess. Well, guys, thank you so much for being here today. Do you want to share anything still? Where can we find you guys?
You can find me on twitch.tv/ShrimeHX or falling out of a 12-story window randomly when I go and visit Daybreak Games headquarters at some point. I'll just randomly fall after the information I've divulged.
As long as you don't show the video, it's fine, I guess.
It's fine.
I don't know. If I will stream probably this week, I'll do the room tour. If not, I'll let you guys know.
And Nico, where can we find you?
Nico101 Salty Night on Twitch and Nico101 Gaming on YouTube.
That's nice. Well, ladies and gentlemen, that's it for today. Thank you so much for watching, and thank you so much for the guests for being here. If you haven't watched the whole video yet, you can watch it later on YouTube, so you can find us over there. But that's us for today, and we'll see you over 2 weeks. Thank you.
Bye.